If I could have made this person pay even more money, I would have done it.
There's actually a 20% service fee if you break up with your date at my table.
You actually just have to give me $100 bill.
Hi, Sequoia.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm really good. I don't know anything about baseball. Are the Yankees doing good?
Oh, are we? Things are looking nice. We recently defeated our arch rivals, the Boston Red Sox, to advance past the wild card series into the divisional series. So we are in to the second round of the playoffs. I went to one of the games with my parents. The Yankees won. It was a very stressful game, but we won, and that was very cool. And then we watched the third game of 3 on television, and they won, and that was also very cool. Now we are on to play the Toronto Raptors. No, we're not. That's the basketball team. We're on to play the Toronto Blue Jays. I wish we were playing the Toronto Raptors. They're really bad at baseball. They're so bad at baseball. They're much better at basketball.
I didn't know there was a baseball team called the Raptors.
So in the second round of the playoffs, you actually play a basketball team. MLB's wild.
It's so wild. They're just trying to get more viewers, you know.
They're doing cross promo. They're doing collabs. I was so focused on not saying the second T in Toronto because everyone in Toronto got mad at me when I started saying Toronto.
Okay.
And I was so focused on that, then instead of Blue Jays, I said Raptors. But yes, we will be playing the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League Divisional Series. And hopefully we continue to win. Wow. And I am hopeful in that because I am in an effort to try and make you a Yankees fan.
Yes.
As we're making happen. And not to say any mean things towards any other teams.
Exactly.
Just factual statements. The New York Mets are not in the playoffs.
They are not.
Didn't make
but
it.
I do have a mismet bobblehead that's on my desk.
That is
currently.
Okay. Mr. Met and Miss Met are cool, and you
They're
can
cool.
like a mascot without rooting for their team. I think Gritty is fantastic. I do not root for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Right.
So that is
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you have a non-awkward conversation. Welcome to Professional Talkers.
Welcome to Professional Talkers, where you can pretend, or no, not even pretend, you can talk about a subject you know nothing about, and it's okay. You just are honest up at the front. Hey, I don't know about baseball. What's going on? Oh, let me tell you everything. This could have been 45 minutes of me talking about how much I love Cam Schlittler. Yeah. That's our new pitcher. He set a record. He's 22 years old.
Oh my gosh.
No, 24. It's okay. He's so much older.
Still, though, when people who reach success in their early 20s, I'm like, that's nuts. When I was that age, I was breaking up with people badly in public places. So here we go.
Transition. Let's go.
Let's go.
Wow. That's
Folks,
really good.
This episode of the podcast is about breaking up. And preview, me and Mike were talking vaguely before this about how, maybe we are not... are not 100% the best people.
As we should say every episode, professional in Professional Talkers is tongue-in-cheek.
Tongue-in-cheek, folks.
Unlike the person who left us a mean comment on our first episode that said, you can call yourselves professional all you want, it doesn't make it true.
And we're like, whoa, okay.
Legally, I do get paid money to talk, so stop.
Legally, yeah.
But yeah, in terms of breaking up, I have been broken up with 5 times, and I have done the breaking up once. And let's just say right at the top, I did a very bad job of it.
Okay.
If anyone who knows the person I did the breaking up with, or if you are watching, I am sorry. I did it so poorly. I know I did it so poorly. I hope you're doing well. I think you're doing well. I think things are going well. I feel bad about it quite often. Cold shiver down my spine.
Sure.
You know, when you remember that awkward bad thing you did, every now and then I'm like, I handled that so poorly. I handled it very, very poorly. So let all of this expertise not be because I'm really good at this, but more of I've been broken up with a bunch. I have thought of what I would have appreciated, and with self-reflection and years passing since I did the one bad breaking up with, I've thought of, if I could do it over again, what would I have done?
Yeah. And I think actually now that we're talking about our specific experiences, maybe this is a good pairing, me and you, to talk about this, because I am the opposite of you. I've broken up with people like 5 times, and I've been broken up with once.
Ooh. Congrats. I mean, from a ratio perspective, congratulations. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I have done it badly like 5 times.
Okay.
Like 6 times? Maybe more than that. We'll see. We'll see how many stories occur to me. High school barely counts.
Yes.
Let's just say that off the top.
On the other side, if any of the girls who broke up with me in high school are watching, I'm not mad. we were teenagers. It's fine. What? Oh, what? You, a 14-year-old handled something immaturely.
Oh, man. Exactly. So really, I've only handled this badly like 3 times. But I have handled it badly, and I know that in retrospect as a more adult than I was at that time. And so, so we're here to give advice based on this experience that we've had. Mike, how many pieces of advice have you brought today?
I've got the legal pad, and I've got 3 pieces of advice.
Nice. I would show you my legal pad, but there's a lot of scribbling out on it.
That's all the names of all of the people. Kevin.
I wrote like 10 pitfalls, and then I was like, you know what? Scribble some of these out, consolidate a few.
I scribbled some out because I scribbled out the ones that were so painfully obvious that I didn't think need to be said, that I feel like we could rapid fire get through some of them.
Sure, we could do like
I was about to write "don't do it" via text, and I was like, we shouldn't have to say it, right? We shouldn't have to say that. Is that one of your pitfalls? I think we can do a rapid fire pitfall round of like, this should be super obvious, but just in case, we'll tell you, and you don't have to.
Right.
We won't tell anyone that we told you. It's
Right. No, I have 3 pieces of advice as well.
Cool. I have 3 pitfalls.
I have 5 pitfalls.
That's okay, because I've got some rapid fires.
I'm sure we'll have overlapping ones anyway.
I agree. Let's see how many we overlap on. So let's start with the advice. What do you got? What's your first piece of advice?
My first piece of advice is to make a decision,
Yeah.
right? I think that a bad thing that can happen is going into the conversation being like, I don't know, I think maybe I'm about to break up with this person. You know, like you want to have made the decision to do it. You don't want to flip-flop on it. That makes the conversation more awkward because nobody knows what direction it's going in technically. And sort of along with that, the idea that like you're making a decision based on what's a solvable problem versus what's a not solvable problem with the relationship. So if you're going in being like, well, maybe we'll solve this problem, maybe we won't in this conversation, and then I'll break up with them, that's not a great way to enter a conversation.
Right. I think that's a really good point. I think you want to go in with the mindset of what is the objective?
Yeah.
Is the objective, I've identified a problem that we need to fix in order to be together going forward? Or have I already determined this is not going to work out and I've made the decision that this isn't going to work out? Because you can conflate the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, what are you going to do? Go into the conversation and like hope you mutually agree to break up? Like that probably won't happen unless you can sense that they want to break up with you. I think that's just a rarity.
Right. And it's also like, you know, if you're going into the conversation being like, this is a solvable problem, maybe, but I hope we don't solve it in the course of the conversation, then maybe you should just be done.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. My first piece of advice is actually pretty similar. My first one is do it once you know.
Okay.
I think part of it is a little bit of making the decision. Part of it is to avoid letting it linger or having things draw out, getting into the territory of like, well, I'm going to start mailing it in.
Yeah.
Even the next step of like, maybe if I just stop being a good significant other, they might want to break up with me. Like all that stuff is really bad. So I think once you know, obviously you got to take the time to make sure you know and you're not being too rash. But once you know, it's kind of like the opposite of when you're dating someone and it's the whole when you know kind of thing.
Sure.
I think also on the bad side, I think like
side,
when you know. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the Sequoia special, is to drag it out longer than it should be.
Yeah, that was where I went wrong in my other one. I think it was a combo of letting it drag out and your situation of not being definitive enough.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to end it, but I didn't want to. I felt rude, like going into a conversation being like, we should break up, when in reality, doing what I did was the rudest possible thing.
Right.
The worst possible thing. The meanest I could have been is what I did, which was not just be like, hey.
Right.
I'm not feeling this.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just like not fair.
To anyone. But especially to the other person.
Yeah.
Because like it's not fair for them to be dating someone who's not fully invested.
Right. And this does, and again, high school doesn't count.
High school counts at least in terms of reflection. Like, I think you can't like forever be held accountable for things you did in high school. I mean, it depends on what you did. But in terms of just like innocuous sort of breakup kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it is worthwhile to reflect upon what you did.
Uh-oh. Here comes my boyfriend. I'm going to duck into this classroom.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, that's no good.
Right.
Yeah. Second piece of advice.
Yeah.
When you're breaking up, you should be clear about why it's happening. And I feel like this is a thing as a person who hasn't been broken up with since I was like 14 or
brag
whatever.
Much.
Brag. Get the brag on the mic. I just feel like I would appreciate it because I am a person who is very anxious. And so like if somebody broke up with me and was just like, sorry, this is done, okay, bye.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would be like over analyzing every little thing that ever happened between me and this person to try and figure out what the problem was.
Right.
So, like, I would appreciate it if somebody told me what the problem was.
Yeah. Of all of the times I was broken up with, there was only one time where I, like, stayed in touch with the person afterwards.
Okay.
And it was because she broke up with me in a good way.
Okay.
To where, like, I wasn't angry about it afterwards.
Uh-huh.
And then we still, like, had, you know, like, a texting-ish friendship and then didn't really talk. This was in high school.
Uh-huh.
But this breakup was hilarious because it started off horrendously. And then when she actually did get to the breaking up with me angle of it, she was just very honest and it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was I once just got a phone call from my girlfriend at the time, unannounced, which was like rare. So This was like sophomore year of high school, and the common thing would be, hey, text me when you're done with your homework and we'll talk for, you know, like 30 minutes or something. And we would do this, you know, a couple times a week. So she just called me like out of the blue, and I was in the backseat of my parents' car. We were going out to dinner, and she called and she was like, hey, you busy? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to dinner with my parents, but I can give you a call when I'm home. And then I got a text message 2 minutes later from her that said, I couldn't do it. He said he was on his way to dinner with his parents. No. So immediately I was like, oh man, okay. Because I liked this girl. I thought things were fine. Like we had only been dating for like a month or so. And I thought things were going well. I was like completely blindsided. So immediately I was like, so she called me back immediately after sending the text message, knowing that she meant to send it to her friend, BB. I knew exactly who she was texting. I won't name drop the girl, but I will name drop her friend, BB. So she calls immediately, and like I know she's lying, but she was like, oh, the thing I was calling you about was inviting you to this party that so-and-so was having, blah, 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 but I'll talk to you about it when you get home from dinner. And I was like, okay. And then a little part of me was like, maybe it's true, but deep down I was like, she's for sure breaking up with me. Went to dinner with my parents, was not in a good mental space the entirety of this fajita dinner at Papacito's. That did not hit as well as those Tex-Mex cuisine dishes normally do.
Right.
And then went home and called her like the second I got home because I was freaking out. And then somehow there was like a little bit of awkwardness. And then I was just like, hey, are you breaking up with me? She was like, yeah, like we live really far away. Because we did. We lived like 45 minutes away from each other because I lived.
That's a lot.
I went to school far away from where I actually lived. And she lived near the school. So she was just like, look, we live really far away. We don't see each other that much. Like, I just don't think it's going to work out. And I was like, honestly, cool. Like, I appreciate it. And then from then on, like, things were fine. And then we, you know, we're still like friendly and cordial and stuff like that. So it started off absolutely hilariously. And then then it was like fine. So all this to say, I might shoot this person a DM and just be like, hello, this was objectively hilarious and we've never talked about it.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about it now that we are 33 years old? Because this was almost 20 years ago. We were 15. Yeah. Absolutely no animosity towards her.
Oh my god.
So funny. So funny.
Okay, now I have to tell a story.
Yeah, please.
Not about dating at all, but about a time when I sent a text message to a person I didn't mean to.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I was working at a restaurant. Mm-hmm. I wanted the day off for whatever reason. Can't even remember why. I was like friends with my boss. We would like hang out after work. Mm-hmm. And I texted her and I said, hey, I'm sick. I can't come in. And she was like, okay. And then I went to text another person to say, hey, I got off work. What are you doing? And I texted her.
Oh, that is like 80s comedy movie bad.
It was so bad. I was like, I cannot believe that just happened. And then she just texted me back. She was like, lol, see you tomorrow.
That's chill. That's great. That's very low stakes. That's very, very low stakes.
Yeah,
That's
very
good.
low stakes. But it's just like the feeling of sending somebody a text message you didn't mean to send them is your stomach. It's like being on a roller coaster.
It's something that is only like it used to be so bad because as the story that I told when I had sent the text message to the girl back in episode 2, mm-hmm. when I said so-and-so is being mean.
Yes.
That was bad because you would see the sending bar go, but you couldn't cancel it. Like there was nothing to be done.
Yeah.
I think you could hit cancel, and it might say it was canceled, but like it still went through. Mm-hmm. Now you can unsend messages with iPhone and stuff, and you can edit messages. Like I don't think the kids these days will know that fear.
That's true. And I think and I think they should.
Those things shaped us as people.
Yeah. Okay, that's a wild story. Please remind me what the advice was that we were talking about.
It was your second piece of advice, which was...
Oh, it was mine.
Yeah.
Be very clear.
Be very clear. Yeah, because eventually she just got to it and was like, you live too far away. We're not seeing each other enough. I'd rather date someone closer. I was like, okay, fine. Okay. Valid. Cool.
And that's valid.
I don't have a car. Sure.
Yeah. There's and again, that's not solvable.
Right. At that point in time, no, because I couldn't drive a car. So it's just like, I can't bug my parents all the time.
Yeah. There was no way to solve the problem.
And the big problem there is we did not go to the same school because I went, have we lore dropped this of Mike Schubert? I went to an all boys high school.
I think I did know that somewhere deep inside the back of my brain.
I went to an all-boys high school and she went to one of the all-girls schools. And those were like a 15-minute drive away from each other. But I was a 45-minute drive away from both of them. So just like, it was hard. We were only hanging out at school functions, which were like once a month. So I get it.
Right. You couldn't even sit together at lunch.
Except she did come, sometimes the girls would come to the all-boys schools like if they had off or whatever.
Okay.
She did come to lunch once and it was very fun.
Yeah.
And there was a guy in my school who was like on the football team and stuff. And I was like, I wasn't picked on a ton in school, but I was not cool.
Sure.
Like I was in like middle.
Right.
And there was one guy who at one point was like, oh, is that your girlfriend, Schubert? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, nice. And I was like, ooh, cool.
Whoa.
Football guy thinks my girlfriend's cute. Nice.
Yeah. I was solidly middle as well. I always say I was solidly middle. I was also homecoming royalty.
Ooh,
so
very nice. Look, you're upper echelon. There you
go. Luckily, I did not peak at high school, folks.
Oh, same. Absolutely same.
That would have been devastating. Okay, what's your second piece of advice?
My second piece of advice is be honest, but in a non-cruel way.
Okay.
So I think it's, again, similar. I think you need to be to the point. You need to be direct. You need to exactly say what you are trying to get across, why you're doing this, what has led you to this decision. I think this is similar to the advice you actually gave last episode, where you don't want to just try and deflate everything and say, oh, it's, not a big deal, whatever. That's where I'm getting into the in a non-cruel way thing, because you still want to tell them what it is. You don't want to put all the blame on you. You don't want to do the it's not you, it's me kind of thing.
Yeah.
But don't take that advice too far and be very rude to someone for no good reason. especially if this has dragged out to the point where you just like can't stand this person, don't like yell at them and say mean things and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just going to be bad. And maybe they will think about whatever mean thing you said until the end of time. And I just think, especially if you're the one doing the breaking up, don't let that honesty go so far into where you're also being mean, because what you're doing is going to hurt. So no need to extra hurt it. But you're not doing them any favors by not being fully honest. So you kind of have to find that middle ground. But don't sugarcoat, don't sourcoat. I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah, sure.
Don't sourcoat
Don't sourcoat it.
Yeah. And that is also, again, like every piece of advice is a part of every other piece of advice. But like, it's again a thing where like, do it in a timely manner. Because if you don't, then you are going to get mad about dumb stuff, you know? I'm like, I hate this joke. Why do you make that joke? Every time this happens, you make that joke and it's driving me insane. And that's not because of anything except for we probably should have broken up and I am just too much of a non-confrontational person to have done it already. And then you get yourself into a position where you could be saying mean things. So it's all pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
One time I broke up with somebody, and then I gave them a cookie.
That's really nice. I never got a gift.
My friends, this was in high school. My friends made fun of me about this until the end of time. They were like, "Oh, you're gonna give them a cookie."
Did you have the cookie just because of the breakup, or did you like happen to have a cookie and then you're like, do you want the cookie?
I happened to have a cookie. Somebody gave me a cookie and then I just happened to have it in my hand. And then I was like, we're breaking up. Here's a cookie. Have a great day. Rough.
I never got a cookie. So I probably would have been, at least you get a cookie.
At least you got a cookie out of it. Okay. My third piece of advice is dependent kind of on the relationship you have with this person and their relationship to your friend group. Also, like, folks, I come from the restaurant industry. Coworker stuff all the time. Wild, nutso. Tough stuff. And happening all the time at restaurants all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I say, you know, depending on how much this person is going to be in your life after you break up with them, there may need to be some boundaries put in place.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
Because yes, if it's not even a co-working thing, if it's you're dating someone from your friend group, especially if it was someone who you were like friends with before, you really kind of have to figure out those next steps. In other cases, especially if like the timing of it works out, like, you know, I had a girl that I was dating senior year of high school break up with me like right before the end of the year. It was like, all right, well, you're not going to Rice, bye, you know. Like, we don't have to worry about this. Like, I genuinely cannot remember why she broke up with me except for that she did. And at that point it was like, all right, well, whatever. I'm never seeing you again, and I haven't. So you do need to factor in what comes next. If you are doing the breaking up, you do need to think about phase 2.
I have broken up with a friend before, a person who is still a huge part of my friend group, one of my best friends.
Oh, cool.
We just forget we dated all the time.
I respect you for being able to do that.
Sometimes we'll be like, hey, that was nuts. And who is the favorite guest from the Fanatical Fix folks will know, Colin, as the fan favorite guest on that podcast. But yeah, like that, I've broken up with a friend. I've broken up with a coworker before, obviously. Restaurant industry, I've obviously broken up with a coworker before. And for the most part, I think I got really lucky because I have dated some really nice people. So like problems haven't really arisen from that situation, except for we just kind of avoided each other a little bit for a while. You know, you got to let the dust settle a little bit, I think, even if everybody's like really chill, nice, cool people and you plan on continuing to be friends. sometimes you just got to let the dust settle.
Yeah, this is something I wish would have happened. There was someone who broke up with me in college, and we had a lot of friend group overlap, and there was not a lot of discussion about what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
And then things got weird when it was like, well, who's moving on first, and like who's hanging out with whose friends and where, and what are you doing in my dorm room? Like, I don't care if you're friends with my roommate.
This is like actually my private space.
Yeah.
Like my semi-private space.
Right. I think that situation would have benefited from either in the moment. I like not saying like this person who broke up with me should have absolutely thought of that. I think it would have helped the two of us if at some point in time, whether it was while it was happening or soon after, if we had some sort of conversation about like, all right, what's the plan from here? I think that would have been helpful. And I don't think we ever really discussed that. That's the only breakup of mine, which was really like, we had to deal with, are we going to see each other a lot after this kind of thing? Yeah. I think that would have been really helpful.
And then also your friends are like, I'm hanging out with or so-and-so, and then they like don't invite you, or they do invite you, and then they're like, but also so-and-so is going to be here and they're already coming. So like, if you don't want to see them, then maybe you don't want to come. And like, things are,
Right. I think I was just a college kid that like didn't think enough about it. But yes, like I was upset at my friends for hanging out with my ex in my dorm room, but I also never expressed it to them beforehand.
Right. There no boundaries were put in place. Right. So like nobody was breaking any boundaries technically.
In my brain, it was just like, well, obviously you wouldn't do that. And some of my, because it was like a thing where you had like 4 people to a common room kind of thing. So like other of my roommates were like, well, obviously not. And then one of my roommates like didn't. And I'm sure he didn't like think anything ill of it. Like he was just friends with her separately. Right. So like normal. But in my brain, it was like, dude, can't you just hang out anywhere else?
Yeah.
So I think that would have benefited everybody involved. Me, her, our friends, everything. I think that would have been really good. So that's a really good piece of advice.
I never lived in a dorm room.
It was fantastic. It was really cool. Rice was very unique in that living on campus was very cool because campus was wet. So all of the parties happened on campus. The booze was on campus. It was not cool to live off campus. On campus was where it was at. And then certain dorm buildings had certain different setups, but ours had 2 double, at least in one section of the building, you would have 2 double rooms to a common area, a double bathroom that connected to another set of that. So by the time senior year came around where you could pick everybody, we just had like 8 of our best friends all hanging out, and we just all hung out with each other all the time. And you just, bathroom doors would always be open to be like, hey, let's come over here and play Smash. Oh, let's come over here and order some pizza. Like it was great. It was fantastic.
That sounds awesome.
Also, since it was on campus, there was like a cleaning service. The maids cleaned it. So like they would just take out the trash and like clean the bathroom. But like that was enough to be huge. Yeah, that's enough. That like taking out trash and doing sinks and toilets, like that's fantastic. Incredible. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have one more?
I have one final piece of advice, and it is to let the person who you are breaking up with, let them speak their piece, but try and stand firm. I think this kind of goes back to your thing about don't be in a situation where you can like be wishy-washy and unsure.
Yeah.
That being said, I think it is helpful to let the other person kind of speak their mind. I think it is fair to let them say what they're feeling, because I guess there could be the chance that there's some like big misunderstanding or whatever. But I just personally think it is very rude to just like come in, be like, we're breaking up, that's it, and not even let it be a discussion. That just feels like it's not going to give a good sense of closure. And I think it's just like a respectful thing to do is to kind of let the other person talk. I think you can still be definitive. Like when I was broken up with a couple of the times, it was very clear at the top, like, you're not talking me out of this, but I was still able to express my feelings, my emotions, my frustrations, whatever. And I appreciated that.
Yeah. I did like, and after senior year of high school, when I broke up with my high school sweetheart, I almost did like a full tumble out of a moving car situation.
Oh no.
Where I was like, all right, it's over, bye. And like,
oh no.
It was so mean. Yeah, you gotta let the other person talk.
Yeah.
Necessary. Absolutely necessary.
Alrighty. Pitfall time?
All right, it's pitball time. I have 5. I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first. We'll do the rapid fires at the end because maybe some of the rapid fires are ones that you already have written down.
Yeah, we'll see. My first one is don't do it in a public place.
Yep. Yeah. Again, that should be so obvious.
That should be so obvious, and yet I've done it.
No.
I did it to Colin. Poor Colin.
How public?
Who is still one of my best friends. Why?
How public?
I was on break between shifts at work at the restaurant, and I worked at a restaurant in a mall, and he came to visit me, and we were like in the courtyard of the mall, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
There wasn't like tons of people around or anything.
Yeah, not as bad as it could be, but still not ideal.
But still not good.
Yeah.
Still not good, I would say. Yeah. You want it to be like a very private conversation. You don't want people to overhear or people to be scared that somebody is going to overhear the conversation. And also, as a person who waited tables for 10 years, if I had a dime for every time people broke up with someone at a table.
That never happened when I was a waiter. Wow.
That happened to me like 3 separate times.
Oh, I don't think I ever had to deal with that. That's tough.
People are wild.
Maybe it was the restaurants we were working at. You're at a mall restaurant. What are you working at? What is this, a Chili's? DJ Freddy's? Rainforest Cafe?
The old spaghetti factory.
Oh! What up, OSF?
Yeah. I worked there for 8 years, 7 years, something like that.
Yeah, see, people were more respectful of Papado Seafood Kitchen. That'd be an expensive breakup. Come on.
Yeah,
Cajun seafood restaurant? It was pricey.
I don't know what listeners have ever been to an old spaghetti factory, but almost every single one of them has a trolley in it.
Yeah, I've been to Houston used to have a spaghetti warehouse, but I think it's still like the same kind of vibe.
Different company.
And it had a trolley, though.
Yeah, different company, same vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the spaghetti factories have a trolley inside them, except for like 1 or 2. I had a table sitting in the trolley. There's tables in the trolley, and they are so close to each other, those tables in the trolley. They weren't even in a booth. What?
What? You can't, you can't do it at a restaurant. Because here's the other thing. This is like a thing I just thought of. If you can manage it this way, it's, I think, easier if you're breaking up with the person in a situation where they can leave.
Yes.
I was broken up once, like, in my dorm room, and then I just had to be like, okay,
leave?
Bye. And now I
sit
here. Whereas on the flip side, like, if it was in her room, I could be like, all right, well, I'm out of here. You know, like, the person who's going to be more upset can, like, storm out. I think that, like, that is a, if you can arrange it kind of thing.
Right.
But I, again, really, and we'll get into this with pitfalls, like, do not try and perfect it. No. But, you know, if there's a way, I think it is easier to put the person in a situation where they can bounce.
Yeah, do it in a restaurant, in a space where you're sitting like maybe 6 inches away from another table with a bunch of kids sitting at it.
And you gotta wait for the check.
Yeah. That table specifically, one of the people broke up with the other one. That person left.
Good.
Obviously.
100%.
That person was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I guess you can just leave the restaurant, then you don't have to pay, and no one would fault you for not paying.
Exactly. And I just dropped a check. I didn't even ask. I was just like, here's your check.
Oh, I thought you meant you, when you said dropped a check that you like didn't make him pay, I was like, Sequoia.
No, if I could have made this person pay even more money, I would have done it.
There's actually a 20% service fee if you break up with your date at my table.
You actually just have to give me $100 bill. That's actually how that works here. It's like when you bring your own bottle of wine.
It's a corking fee. There's a breaking up fee at a restaurant.
Because that was wild.
That sucks.
I was like, I'm sure you don't want to stay. Here's your check.
Do you remember any of the details? Do you remember why they did it?
I don't remember any of the details, unfortunately. I just remember there was yelling and there was like full crying.
As there should be.
Yeah.
1,000%.
And I was like, I would be so mad if somebody was breaking up with me here in this space at this time.
Mortified. And now I can't ever eat at the old spaghetti warehouse again because it gives me bad memories.
Exactly.
My favorite restaurant.
Every time they're walking around a city with trolleys, they see a trolley.
Oh no, you've ruined trolleys for them. Now they can't live in San Francisco.
Exactly. All right, that's my first pitfall.
Amazing, yeah. Mine, actually, funny enough, was don't break up in a trolley. Hi there, it's Mike. Welcome to the Professional Talkers Mid-Roll Break. Just here with some updates and some information and some thanks to give. First, I want to thank you for listening to this episode. And when I say listening, I mean listening, because as you may have seen or not seen, we did not do a video episode for this episode, and I believe that will basically be the policy going forward. We just realized with this episode in particular that the video production work that both of us have to do just really takes up a lot of time. And for two people who have full-time jobs and a bunch of other things going on, and I have a kid and just a lot, we realized that doing the video stuff was going to prevent us from getting the podcast out there, whether that be on time or at all. And if we go back to the audio only roots that we had before starting this podcast, it would just allow us to get this out on a more consistent basis on those every other Monday release dates, not having to worry about pushing things and all that. And I think it's just going to be for the best. Now, we might still do video episodes from time to time, especially if we have a high profile guest, but we will for sure be putting the video recordings of the episodes up on Patreon. So we will still use the video recording software that we've been using, but now the uncut video versions will be up on the Patreon, and that is available at patreon.com/professionaltalkers. And speaking of that Patreon, I want to give a shout out to our newest patrons. So first, I think we got to do a correction, because we had been thanking Mott's Forley as our Talking Protege patron, but we have another Talking Protege patron, Ginger Spursboy. And I don't know if we thanked Ginger Spursboy when he first joined and then forgot to do the repeating thing, or missed it all together. I apologize for that. But we've got two Talking Protege patrons that we'll be thanking in the ending credits. So shout out to Ginger Spursboy and to Mott's Forley, but also shout out to our two newest Talking Apprentice patrons. Shout out to Nachosme and shout out to Susan C. Crussell or Crucell. I should have asked Sequoia the pronunciation here, because there's a note here in our document that Sequoia wrote that this is Sequoia's grandma. How cool, Susan. Thank you so much. That is awesome and fantastic, and power to you for figuring out how to sign up on the Patreon. That is a step that my parents, not even grandparents, my parents haven't figured out. So huge props to you, Susan. Thank you to everyone who is supporting. We really appreciate it. Earlier today, we recorded episode 9 of Professional Talkers, and we also did a bonus episode that will be coming out soon, where we did the work lore drop, where we talked about all of the jobs that we had before our current podcasting situations. It was really fun. It was like 48 minutes of lore drop, a really fun time. And I learned a lot about Sequoia, which was really cool. So I had a fun time. I think you will as well. Also, just an update about something discussed earlier in this episode. You can tell we recorded this one earlier in October when things were going well for my beloved New York Yankees, my favorite baseball team. As I currently record this mid-roll break on Sunday, November 2nd, the Yankees got eliminated from the playoffs by those Toronto Blue Jays, not the Toronto Raptors, the Toronto Blue Jays. And it's certainly a blessing in disguise in that we had to delay this episode by 2 weeks, because otherwise I would have had to say, oh man, we lost to the Blue Jays. Now they're in the World Series, yada, yada, yada. But now we're in a situation where the Blue Jays just lost the World Series in very dramatic fashion. So we can just all be sad together and angry that the Dodgers won. Again, if you don't care about sports, I'm done with sports talk. We're through. It's over. Don't worry anymore. You can keep listening, I promise. Now, outside of this, I just have a little note for things that I've got going on. I have a live show in Los Angeles for my Percy Jackson podcast, The Noose Olympian, on December 2nd. That is a Tuesday. It will be at 8 p.m. It will be in Santa Monica at a venue called The Crow, which does have free parking, and it's right by a public transit stop, so you can come on through. Going to be covering some of the House of Hades, which is the fourth Heroes of Olympus book. And then I'm also working on getting tickets up for a tour that I'm doing through Australia and New Zealand in January and February of 2026. I'm close to getting Australia tickets up, working on New Zealand stuff as well. So stay tuned on the Noose Olympian social media and podcast for updates in regards to all of that. But without further ado, we will now take a little bit of a break here for some dynamically inserted ads. They're locally inserted, so they might be relevant to wherever you are listening to this episode. And then when those are complete, we will continue this episode of Professional Talkers. My first one is the biggest one for me that I should have taken. Don't wait for the perfect time.
Yes.
There is no perfect time. There is no perfect situation. You're only making things worse by delaying. This links with my do it once you know situation. There will never be a perfect time.
Nope.
There are the worst times to do it.
Sure.
I would say like try and at least factor that in, but you can't make too many reasons. Like,
right.
I was broken up with in high school, my senior year. Someone waited until after prom to break up with me, even though they had decided before prom that they were going to break up with me. And this was awful because she was very strange and standoffish the entire night of prom. And I spent my entire night wondering, what's going on? Have I done something wrong? What's up? Like, it was just awful vibes the whole night, the whole night. And then she broke up with me like the Monday after. And I was furious. It would have been so much better if she'd just broken up with me before and I could have gone to prom solo or not gone to prom.
Yeah.
There's many other things where like you could pick the worst possible time, like the night before a test or like, things like that.
Sure. But like, it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
You can't, no matter what, you can't pick a time where things are just gonna be thumbs up, good to go, unless you're both on the same page about breaking up.
Right. And there's always going to be the next reason not to. There's going to be, well, I don't want to do it at Christmas. I don't want to do it at New Year's. I don't want to do it at Valentine's Day. I don't want to do it at Arbor Day. Like, there's always going to be some sort of thing. Their birthday, your anniversary, school starting, school ending, hard time. Like, you can always find an excuse of why to push, and it'll just happen indefinitely. So don't wait for a perfect time. Still avoid the worst possible times.
Sure.
But for the most part, you can't wait for a perfect time.
Exactly.
There
like,
will be no
use
perfect
common
time.
sense to a degree and then just do it when you decide.
Yeah. The only perfect time, the best time, is when you know.
Yeah.
Because then you're not wasting this person's time. You're not being unfair to them by keeping them in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to be in it, who isn't invested in it. Maybe they have no idea and they're completely blindsided. Like, you're just wasting their time.
For sure.
Their time that they could be finding Mr. Mrs. Mix right.
Exactly.
They could find the one, and you're dragging them out for 3 extra months. What if they found the right person in those 3 months in the alternate reality? So don't be mean to them.
Boy.
Don't drag it out. There's no perfect time.
Yeah. Yep. I love that I can look back at my breakups and know all of those people are in very happy, good relationships, and I can feel a little bit better about what I've done. This is also a pitfall I had, so we can mark one off on my list.
Cool.
Yeah. My next pitfall is, don't say we need to talk because it's played out.
Yeah. It just means we have to break up.
It just means we have to break up.
So
That's
just
it.
text.
Yeah.
We have to break up.
Yeah.
I don't actually do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, but at that point, that's what you're doing. That's effectively what you're doing. So just be like, hey, can you come over after work?
I guess, so here's my question. With this piece of advice, what are you trying to avoid? Are you trying to avoid like the lingering, looming element of it?
Yeah.
Or is it just the exact phrasing of we need to talk?
Well, no, it's the exact phrasing.
Okay.
Because it just means we need to break up.
I guess so, yeah. Right. I'm trying to think of like what would be the best way to do it. Because it's hard. You don't want to necessarily blindside, but you don't want to text someone something at 2 p.m. and then at 8 p.m. you're coming over, and then for 6 hours they're wondering about what's happening.
Sure. I think it's like innocuous to be like, hey, can you come over after work?
Okay. Yeah. So basically your advice here, or the pitfall to avoid, is like, do it in a way that you're still setting the timeline of, like, you're setting the date to do something.
Yeah.
You are not telling them we are breaking up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Because then you're just like, really, you ruined someone's day so that you can ruin it again later?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, this is kind of like the mid-step between a complete blindside. You still are not being 100% forthcoming, but you are at least letting them know we have arranged something, and they might be able to put some stuff together, but it's not as much of a gut punch as we need to talk is.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. I think it's valid. I think it's very valid. Okay, my next piece of advice is to not make the decision, one way or the other, to break up with them or to delay breaking up with them based on what others will think.
Ooh.
I think this is something that I ran into just, what is she going to think? What are her friends going to think? What are they going to think? What is so-and-so going to think? They're going to be upset. Their friends are going to take their side. You're going to look potentially bad. I think, again, a lot of this just points to if you're focusing on these sorts of things, right, you are missing the actual thing that is worse, which is dragging it out. That's how you actually look worse and are worse and appear worse. That's so much worse than like, he broke up with her on a Thursday. That's her favorite day of the week. Like, just don't worry about it. This is a decision between you and them. And that is all that you should really be focusing on. The optics be what they be. As long as you're not being a rude, terrible person, right? All that aside, you shouldn't be factoring in this other stuff. Yeah. Because it's unimportant in comparison.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's good. All right, my next pitfall is don't make the other person do it.
Yeah.
So here's my caveat to what I've been saying, which is that I haven't been broken up with since I was 14. That's not true, technically.
Ooh.
Because somebody made me do it.
Oh.
Yeah. My last relationship that I was in, I got made to do it, which is a thing that I think other asexual people can probably relate to, where like somebody thought they could hack it and then they couldn't. And they were like, this is not working for me. And I was like, okay. And then they were like, so what does that mean for our relationship? And I was like, you just broke up with me. What is happening?
Yeah.
And then I was like, that means that we're breaking up. And he was like, oh, yeah, I guess. I'm like, did you just make me break up with you? That's nuts.
I will even say to myself that, like, I handled my breakup so poorly that it, like, kind of bled into that territory. I kept, like, really trying to be, like, the whole, like, let's try and, like, agree that this isn't working together kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I basically, like, initiated that conversation enough that this person was just, like, stormed out. Rightfully so. Absolutely rightfully so.
Yeah. I also have basically made somebody break up with me before. So I have been on both sides of the thing where I have done the bad thing and the bad thing was done to me. When the bad thing was done to me, I was like, oh, I'm not like upset by this breakup because I sort of got the feeling that this was the direction that this was headed in. I am not surprised by it, so I'm not really upset by it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I have also done this thing.
Yeah. No, and I think that like that is the less extreme version of the start mailing in the relationship in hopes that they break up with you, like, I'm going to be a bad boyfriend or whatever. That's like the worst version of this. Absolutely do not do that. Yeah. Or even the whole, like, I'm going to start cheating on this person. Like, oh my God. Like, that's the kind of thing where it's like, grow up. Do not do that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely do not do that. So,
and everybody is good and happy now and in good relationships and everything's fine. What's your next pitfall, Mike?
My final pitfall is to not go through this all gestures wildly alone. And I think that can talk about every aspect of it. The point where you are considering that things might not be great and that you might need to end things afterwards, having someone to talk about it with, to share your feelings with. I think this could go for like a lot of my relationships is just, I think I just kind of like internalize anytime anything was going wrong. And, I wasn't talking to anybody else and I was, trying to rationalize with myself and blah, 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 blah. I think that there are so many problems that can be solved by actually just talking to some other people, talking with your friends, talking with your family, talking with your siblings, talking with any sort of mentor in your life. I think that if you just have open and honest conversations, people can help you realize things about yourself, about them, about your relationship. It does give the open door. This will probably be another episode of like how to tell your friend that their significant other kind of sucks.
Yeah, we will get to that someday.
I think the biggest answer to that is pray to God your friend says, hey, I have concerns about X. Yeah. Because then you can be like, hey, yeah, they're not great. So
right, exactly.
I think you need to just kind of be able to talk to people before, because also you might be thinking like, oh man, this isn't working out. And your friend, if they're a real good friend, they might be like, dude, you're being the bad one here. And maybe you need to reassess. Like, it's not their fault. You're a jerk. So I think that can help a lot. And then after a breakup, like even if you're doing the breaking up, like it's hard, especially the older you get, because then you can have breakups in adult life, which are really tough.
Sure.
You can have breakups of, oh, we don't operate on the same career timeline, life timeline. We don't want the same things. You decided you don't want kids. I do.
Yeah.
Work is taking me to one part of the country. I don't want to do long distance, like family things, whatever. Like you can get really hard breakups of like, I really like this person, but it's just not going to work. And I think you just really need to have a support system. You need to be able to lean on other people during any part of this process.
No, that's really true.
Don't go it alone.
Don't go it alone, folks. And so that leads me to my final pitfall, which is don't break up mid-fight.
That's really good. That's really good.
I do think, like there's like the old thing where we're just like, don't go to sleep mad or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, be mad, then go to sleep. Then wake up and be like, am I still, if you're having the fight, have the fight, get over the fight, do what you need to do. And maybe later you need to assess if that is something that is going to be like a deal breaker or something for you. But like you're too heightened in emotion at the like crux of the fight to make any big decisions.
Yeah, have whatever the argument is, sleep on it. It's hard if you're like living with the person, obviously.
Sure.
Like I think that's where the don't go to bed mad thing really comes into play. But I think your pitfall here is wise because you can be too emotional to necessarily make that call. But at the very least, like if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so mad, I just want to end this. Take the time, see how you feel in the morning, because either what's going to happen is you're going to think, no, I was being out of line, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Or you're there the next morning, you go, nah, this is not going to work.
This is not going to work. Yeah.
And I think having a little bit of time in between to really process gives you the sense of clarity of, was I wrong? Was I right? In thinking, I just want this to be over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay. Did you have any more lightning round type thoughts?
I mean, don't do it over text. Don't do it over email. Don't do it through a third party. Mm-hmm. Don't do it not only at a public event, but like don't do it at any sort of major event.
Sure.
I think also similar to the restaurant one, like don't do it in a situation where like then you have to linger for a long time. Like if you drove them somewhere and then you have to like drive them back. Yeah.
Yikes.
Any other lightning ones you can think of?
Nope. That pretty much covers it, I think.
Cool. Sweet. Those are like the super duper obvious ones I would think that people don't need to be told, but maybe you do. You never know.
You never know.
Okay, I think we did it. I think that's all the stuff. Wild.
Yeah, so do we want to do a quick recap here?
Sure. Go through your advice points first, and then I'll go through mine.
All right, so for advice today, we have make a decision. We have be very clear about why this is happening, and depending on your relationship with that person, you might need to set some boundaries.
Mm-hmm. My advice, do it once you know, be honest in a non-cruel way, and let them speak their piece, but try and stand firm.
And for pitfalls today, we've got don't do it in a public place, especially not a trolley. We say don't say exactly we need to talk because everyone knows what that means. Don't make the other person do it, and don't break up mid-fight.
Mm-hmm. My pitfalls. Don't wait for the quote-unquote perfect time. It doesn't exist. Don't make the decision based on what others will think, and don't go through the process alone.
All right.
Mm-hmm. On a closing note, I will say to any person who's broke up with me or the person I broke up with, for every single person, I see your side of it. I don't think I was ever 100% in the right at all.
Yep.
You're all totally fine. Let none of this be a thought that I'm like, I was right and you were wrong. Nah, man.
Yep.
It's all good. It's all 100% good.
Yep.
You
all
were right.
Good. All good, folks.
Wrong.
All good.
I promise. I goofed.
Yep. I done goofed pretty hard. Well, of course, before we finish out this episode, we do need to throw it over to our Gen Z introvert correspondent to see how we did.
Let's see how we did.
All right, it's that time again, listeners. It's your favorite part of the podcast. Oh, God. Oh, whoa. Sherry Gwost is here.
A wild Sherry appeared.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Sherry, what did you think about our breaking up advice? And are you, is this a thing that you have done often? Are you a break-upper? Are you a break-uppee? What's the deal?
I have minimal experience with this. I've had friendship breakups, so that feels like the closest.
Yeah.
And it all seems reasonable. Yeah.
Cool.
I think one thing to add is like write out your thoughts and read them to prepare and sift through it.
Yeah.
Because I've done this poorly before where I just kind of was angry on a treadmill and wrote out a text without proofreading it and said things I did not mean. And then there's no way to take that back. And then it's really awkward.
Yeah, that's tough.
Especially if you're trying to like kind of reestablish like a midline point instead of like fully breaking something off. Yeah. Yeah. Filter your thoughts.
Okay. It's very introvert of you to say like write it out and sort through your thoughts. I think that is good. I think that's wise to do, because I think there's a lot of times, even if you don't want to write it out, at least saying it to yourself, you can like when you actually say or write the things you're thinking, you might like recognize how the other person is going to take the things that you're saying. And I think trying to put yourself in that other person's shoes as much as possible is very helpful. So I think that's a good way to do that.
Definitely.
All righty. Well, all right, cool. Thanks.
I think that's it.
Thank you, Sherry.
Yep, that's about all I have on that topic.
Hopefully you never have to use this advice. Hopefully the dating you're doing is going well and everything's great. And the wedding does happen soon.
Right. And since the last episode.
Yeah, I was going to say, see on the narrative arc of how every single vibe check, I'll just ask, are you getting married? I'll be like your father. Sherry, have you brought home someone?
I'll have to like make a ring and fake you out.
Oh my God.
Don't do that, please. I would fall for it so bad.
Do it.
I will fall for it so bad. I really will. I'm gullible with a lot of like things like that. I would, because I would just be. I think because
what's that?
well, just like if someone does like a fake good news thing, I'm always going to fall for it because if something good happened to someone and I was like, no, surely this is a joke. Nothing good could happen to you. Like then I'd look bad.
That's super fair.
Yeah.
That's really fair. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's our advice is don't be mean when people have good things to say. Don't. Thank you so much, Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry, as always.
Bye.
Oob? Is that boo backwards?
Just reverse that of the parking spot. Amazing. All right, thanks. Wow, cool. Another episode complete. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Sequoia. Thank you, the viewer/listener.
Yes, thanks to everybody. And Mike, I'll talk to you soon.
Listeners, we'll talk to you soon as well. We appreciate you listening to this episode of Professional Talkers.
Professional Talkers is created, hosted, and produced by Mike Schubert and Sequoia Simone.
Audio is edited by Mike Schubert. The music is by Bettina Campamanes, and the art is by Elliot Davis.
Can't get enough of the show? Get access to loads of additional content like ad-free episodes and bonus episodes as a thank you for supporting us at patreon.com/professionaltalkers.
Thank you to our Talking Protege level patrons, Ginger Spursboy and Mats Forley. Follow us on social media. We're at ProTalkPod on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Twitter, or you can check out our website, professionaltalkers.com.
If you want to watch video versions of these episodes, you can find those over on Spotify as well as our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@professionaltalkers.
We'd love it if you would subscribe to and rate the show on your preferred podcasting app, and we'd be especially grateful if you talked about the show to your friends or talked about it on social media. Word of mouth helps new shows grow.
Talk to you soon.